Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. We are going to be a channel around the FIA GT3 cars, collecting them in 1/64 scale. Now the first video that we're going to be looking at is we're going to be focusing on cars that I already have in my collection. These are not new releases, these are cars that you may find on the second-hand market. You're probably going to struggle to find brand new. In front of us we have the cars that competed in the 2017 Macau GT World Cup. That's the race that everybody remembers for the monster pileup at Police, in which the Vanthoor Porsche here collided with the teammates to this AMG, and basically the whole track became blocked. Everybody went piling in, and nearly the whole field was taken out. Lucas de Grassi's Audi ended up piled up on top of everybody else. Very few cars actually made it through. So in front of us we're going to start off by looking at the car that won that race, and that is the Mercedes AMG GT3 from the AMG Team Driving Academy. The driver was Eduardo Mortara, Mr. Macau. This is an older release, but no less still a very good one by or Sparky. It's quite difficult to find now, being that it was released probably 5 or 6 years ago now. But either way, it's really cool to have. They never did the teammate cars, they only did this car. This car was also done by Tarmac Works, which is harder to find. It was a limited edition, hence why I've probably got the Sparky here, but a really cool model. One thing with the Sparkies compared to a Tarmac Works AMG, which you'll see in a minute, the mirrors are less likely to be bent downwards. We'll show you that on the upcoming Tarmac version. But yeah, really cool release. That's the winner of this race, as I nearly put the case back on it the wrong way around. Second place, that went to the Audi team, and that was Robin Frins driving this gold car. I believe the team that ran the car were Team WRT Asia, but it could have been Team Phoenix as well. They usually ran the Audis at Macau. Robin Frins, this is a limited edition, one of 1,248 pieces. This is the second place car. As you can see, a very Macau scheme with the gold livery. Lots of cars run very shiny chrome liveries like the Vanthoor Porsche that we just saw. This car came in second. Tarmac Works done a really nice job. Mine has got some scuffing, unfortunately, on that rear glazing, which is a bit frustrating. I also believe that this car actually had a broken base when I got it, so I did have to glue it together. But it's a hard car to find. Unless I find a better one, it will stay as it is. Third, Group M with Mauro Engel in the AMG GT3. This is the Tarmac Works release, and as you can see, what I mean about droopy mirrors, you can see that that mirror seems to be a bit bent downwards. Common fault with the Tarmac Works AMG GT3s. This has got the Lincoln Park livery. There is also a Lincoln Park livery car that ran at Spa, with a chrome livery. Tarmac Works have done that one as well. This one is limited edition to one of 2,112 pieces, but interestingly there was a charity release as well of this model, which you can find. But yeah, really cool piece to have in the collection. In fact, is that the charity that's on the top? No, I don't think it is. But yeah, really cool piece. Mauro Engel went on to win at Macau a few times. He's still very much a competitive guy and the top Mercedes driver probably out there. Now we move to Augusto Farfus. This car finished off the podium. It was battling for a good result, but unfortunately it ran into the back of one of the Mercedes late on in the race, and I think it dropped down the order because of that from memory. This is one of 2018 pieces. This car is actually an art car. Basically, I think if you took photos of this car, you could then put them through some kind of process, and you've got all these colours waving around it and stuff. So from an art car point of view, it's very boring to look at, but it's because it was digital art as opposed to the art cars that you're familiar with BMW. It's got a lovely carbon finish on this one. Again, Tarmac Works. They did some really good BMW M6 GT3s. It's probably one of their better GT3 castings. I do have a few in my collection. Now we move on to the victims of this crash. We have got in front of us, I think this was Renger van der Zand in the Honda NSX. He was the factory Honda NSX driver. Fortunately, we wouldn't get to see what the NSX could do. Now, this is one of Tarmac Works' best ever GT3 castings, but they only ever really did it once before they lost the license. So we never really saw more of these NSXs, which was a big shame. They had a couple of the Super GT cars planned, but yeah, we never got to see them, unfortunately. Really cool casting, nicely done. I do hope that Tarmac Works do decide to try and do some more of the NSXs, because there's a few that they could do. One that strikes me as being an interesting one could be the car that came third, I believe, or was it second, in the Kyle Army race in 2018. But there's a few IMSA cars, there's a few Super GT cars, Super Takeo, things like that. But unfortunately, this car would be eliminated in that crash. Next up, as I said, a car that I think was one of the starting incident cars, if you like, and that is the Lawrence Van Thor Porsche in the Uvisu livery. Mine does have damage again on the back. Again, a hard to find car, so I couldn't really be picky. Do get some alignment issues as well with some of the decals, the blue shining through the red there, for example. I found with these early Sparks, with these chrome style liveries, that they are very, very difficult to handle. You do risk damaging them, so you do have to be careful. But that is the final car that I have from that year's race, 2017. I don't think any other cars have been done. If they have, please do shout. I do plan to do some customs. I want to do Lucas Di Grassi's car, which ended up at the top of the pile, if you like. I am tempted to do the other AMGs to go with this. And the second Audi, which I think was driven by Müller. I think they'll just be nice pieces to have. Potentially, I could do the Ferrari or the Lamborghini that also raced in that race. So it was probably the first time that they'd reappeared at the GT Cup for a little while, so they might be interesting to do too. But that is the 2017 Macau GT World Cup summed up in 164. I will leave you with the podium placed cars. Let's just pile them up this way. And they are the top cars from that year's race. Interesting to see them all being modelled, because there's a few years now that actually you can only get one, maybe the winner. Sometimes you end up with like second place and not the winner, or third. But that year we did get the top three. And then we've got some other interesting cars from that race. Hopefully I can create some customs just to produce a few more, because I am trying to get as many of the Macau 164 GT cars as I can. Hope you enjoyed this video. We will have another video coming up soon from one of the other races. Like I said, I've got most years now. I stopped collecting in 2023. I am now returning to collecting, and I am catching up on the 2023, 2024 and 2025 cars that have been released so far. And I also have many other cars from other events like IMSA, Super GT, Spa 24 Hours, things like that, which we will go through. We'll also check out some of the new releases. I'm not going to be able to get every single GT3 car that gets released. Like I said, I'm going to focus on Macau and collect cars that I like, as opposed to trying to collect every single one like I had done previously. I did sell some of my collection, so I will be trying to rebuy some of those cars that I preferred, but I definitely won't be going after every single car again like I used to. Hope you enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe, let me know what you think, and we'll catch you for another 164 GT3 video soon.